The fifth set is going to be played on Newkirk. Spawning in the bottom right-hand position as the red Terran from WOONGJIN Stars. His name is HammEr.
His opponent is from KT Roaster, green Terran on the bottom left position. His name is Flash.
4 Terrans in total for the lineup today, just on WOONGJIN Stars' side. Only 1 Terran from KT Roaster, but of course it's Flash. Yeah, I really do like that WOONGJIN Stars is really trying to field a lot of Terrans here, though. I guess they're, you know, thinking that next season Terrans will become very dominant. And, you know, who knows, man? Maybe it won't be PP Pro League next season, it'll be TvT Pro League.
And it seems like HammEr's the one who wants to be aggressive early in this game as his SCV is moving across the map.
And it looks like he wants to go for some type of proxy play here. Where is he going to put this barracks, though? That's the real question. And is he going to follow it up with gas?
Yeah, well, we're still going to have to wait and see. First of all, the SCV is going to go towards third location over there and going to build a barracks behind the mineral line.
All right, Flash's barracks starting pretty much at an identical time as well. So no gas to see from HammEr. Okay, there we go. The gas has begun, so you know, in this position, he can go for the Marauders or the Reapers here. It really just depends on what he wants to do. The Reapers, though, I have a feeling it may be them.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's going to be Reapers too, because if you look at the barracks positioning, can you actually fit a tech lab next to the barracks?
Well, we'll find out soon if he goes for it or not. It's kind of tough looking at it from that angle. I think he may be able to fit it there, but still I think that'd be a little bit of an odd place to put a barracks if you wanted to indeed add that tech lab add-on there.
So the barracks does finish, and HammEr has enough. He's going to have enough gas, just 10 away, and he is going to build a second barracks in this position.
Oh yeah, then it's definitely got to be Reapers. And there we go, we see the Reaper in production. Flash lost to this build against Innovation last season in WCS. Will history repeat itself against him? That's the question here. Flash is making a Marine right now, getting a second one behind this. He's mining his gas up here. He could go for the reactor afterwards. Oh, he's going to scout with his Marine. He's going to see everything. But the question is, will he have enough time to prepare for the proxy here that's coming in from his opponent? No, Flash! He doesn't scout far enough up, and he realizes, or he doesn't realize he's not actually safe, but he thinks he's safe in this position. At least he will see the fast Reaper from his opponent.
I think it's better for him to just wait until 3 Reapers and then go inside the main base, but he does run away from the Marines and gets one. Does not even get an SCV right now, but remember, there is a second Reaper out on the way. He needs to make sure he saves a Reaper.
Reaper will get saved here. Flash, though, he's only building a command center right now, and we already have 2 more Reapers in production. 3 Reapers are going to move into Flash's base really soon here, and this may just end up being a loss for him if he doesn't realize what's coming his way, making a factory behind this as well. The reactor is completed, and he's building 2 Marines right now, but the problem is HammEr, things can simply snowball for him.
Yeah, and this was so perfect, showing the first Reaper saying, hey, this is my scouting Reaper. Do not expect any more other than 1. That's the reason why Flash is going for the reactor, and yes, he has up to 4 Marines right now, but this is going to be 4 Marines versus 4 Reapers from HammEr.
Flash, if he's smart, he's going to see these. He needs to pull back. He needs to bring SCVs with this army here. And, okay, 3 Reapers here. Don't see the 4th one here. May have gotten picked off there. Nice control from Flash, but there's a lot of Reapers in the red. There's the 4th Reaper. None of them have been picked off yet. So Flash, he's just losing units here and there, and I don't know, things are looking pretty scary for him at this point. He needs to pick off the Reapers before they can heal up.
Yeah, well, the SCV is trying to get a full surround, but HammEr micros away. He does lose a single Reaper, but he can run away to the edge and just drop down the cliff.
Excellent control from HammEr here. He's going to have a few additional Reapers added into the mix now. Hellion on the way. Will it be enough? With the repair, the Hellion can fend off those Reapers here.
Well, this needs to do a critical amount of damage because remember, Flash does have a second command center. Can HammEr make this work?
He is down in supply. He is up in the command center, but he is down in workers. 16 to 20 of HammEr. HammEr also grabbing an expansion behind this. The Reapers are still continuing to be a pretty big threat here as well. We have 6 total for our WOONGJIN Stars player.
Yeah, and Flash still needs to be careful. Those Reapers can come inside the main base anytime soon, as one of the Reapers does get taken out, and Flash just defending against the Reapers left and right.
Oh, he's got to be careful though.
Oh!
Flash loses one of his Hellions, trades a Reaper for it though, and you know, at the count of 5, with the amount of Marines out now, 6, Flash should be safe to defend.
Yeah, he does have a second Hellion out also, but remember, all Flash has to do is try to stabilize on 2 bases. Yes, he is down in the SCV count, but he has much better tech than his opponent HammEr right now, as he's just floating his barracks back to the main base. The factory isn't even finished for our player from WOONGJIN Stars.
HammEr going to get a 3rd command center behind this as well, though, so eventually his economy is going to be in fantastic shape when it comes to him facing off against Flash. But we do have Normal around the way, Medevac in production, 2 Widow Mines as well being created by Flash here. So once the aggression turns on from Young Ho, we could see this game flip around to his favor.
Yeah, in fact, HammEr's starport is only halfway done. He needs to get some units out. He's going to go for the Hellbats, but remember, Flash's Hellbats are going to be out much faster, much quicker than his opponent HammEr.
Flash just waiting. All right, here come the Hellbats in production right now. We also have the Medevac ferrying some Widow Mines over to HammEr's main base. Smartly though, HammEr has got a bunker in his mineral line as well as a turret on way.
Yeah, nice play by HammEr. Also double confirming that his opponent is going for the starport with the factory reactor play, as he gets a complete scan on those 3 buildings. But does he have detection at the natural? No, he does not.
So Flash could realize what's going on here, try to move towards the natural, going to scurry out and did not drop anything. All right, he's moving his Medevac over to that position. Let's see if he circles around to that natural base. They're actually moving into the middle of the map there. Oh, but the Viking here is going to definitely scare away the Medevac, forcing it to retreat back to Flash's main base. Going to drop a single Widow Mine though, potentially at this 3rd base or near the natural, in case units try to move out without a scan.
Flash also double confirms that his opponent is getting up to 3rd command center, and because of this, HammEr is going to skyrocket in the SCV count compared to Flash.
He also has Hellbats of his own to help defend against Flash's units here. Keep in mind, guys, the patch has not gone through yet for the Korean servers, so we don't see any changes to the Hellbats. They still do the same amount of damage that they always have normally done, and we probably won't see that change at least for another couple of days.
Flash going for a 3rd command center on his own, knowing that if he delays it anymore, then he is going to fall behind and lose the game against HammEr, so he needs to secure the 3rd command center right now. Also, there is a drop coming from HammEr right now, but the Widow Mine, oh, it just avoided the Widow Mine in the other direction.
Yes, indeed it has. The Widow Mine positioning is still pretty cool there, though, from Flash. And there's double Vikings here. Let's see the drop. It's going to come in there, realizing, oh, wait, no, there's just a crap ton of Hellbats there. And that drop gets taken out very quickly, and may have gotten a worker kill or 2 there. Most of those are from earlier on in the game. HammEr, though, still ahead of his opponent economically, but we're starting to see the game even out. Supply-wise, dead on identical between the guys. Flash now taking a bit of an advantage, at least temporarily. And, you know, if Flash gets this to the late game, I can see him winning for sure. HammEr, he had his chance early on, but was not able to seal the deal.
Yeah, well, so if you just look at the economy, it's much better for HammEr right now, and all he really needs to do right now is make sure that he can secure the 3rd base, and both players are going to transition into mech-based army. As Newkirk, you know, we've seen a lot of mech games on this particular map. But if you look at the upgrades, Flash is going for the +2, while HammEr's +1 is still not finished.
Yeah, that's true. Flash going to be ahead in the upgrade slightly here. And the Widow Mine does manage to hit something. They're going to get scanned and picked off now from HammEr's end. And he's just moving into... Well, actually, both guys are going into a completely mech composition. So maybe a Viking and Medevac support for now as well. Thor on the way from HammEr here. Thors have been proven recently to be pretty decent against Hellbats. You know, the splash damage on them pretty much doesn't hit any other unit but the Thor.
Definitely, and also it can tank a lot of damage from the siege tanks, as Flash is getting his own siege tanks out against HammEr.
Yeah. I guess the weakness of the army, it's just really darn slow.
Yeah, and both players just adding in more factories right now as they're gearing towards a late game. I would like to see some players just start seeding up in the middle of the map to make sure they can split down even in the middle and then take extra expansions towards the right top corner of the map or the left top corner if you're spawning from Flash's location.
Looks like we may indeed start to see a split in armies. Flash even has a few Hellions in his army mix as well. Could be just from earlier in the game, though. All right, the Thors are out. We have additional factories on the way from HammEr. I have a feeling that we're just going to move into a pretty long macro game unless someone really wants to try to do a strong mid-game timing push here.
Yeah, using the Thors, he's just going to be able to defend against any early mech timing attacks from his opponent Flash while getting his own siege tanks out to secure this position. And look at this, 2 additional command centers going down. HammEr is gearing for a long macro game against his opponent in today's match.
Yeah, he has a lot of money in the bank here. Still about 1K, despite, okay, he's even making a 3rd command center at this point. So, yeah, eventually he's going to be turning them into orbitals, maybe a few planetaries and strategic positions as well. And really just, you know, turtle-style Terran on both ends.
And this is nice. He does have a lot more minerals banked in because of the number of SCVs that they had, but he doesn't have enough gas because he took the 3rd base at the same time Flash did. That's the reason why he has a lot of minerals left over, but not that much gas compared to his opponent. Also, HammEr needs to be careful. There's going to be right now and one more timing where he's going to be behind in upgrades compared to his opponent. So he needs to make sure he engages his opponent's army head on when the upgrades are same.
Indeed, Flash trying to move out here with position, forcing a siege up from HammEr. And looks like a Hellbatter 2 was picked off there. Medevac's boosting away from the Vikings. Don't want to get picked off there. There's no anti-air in Flash's army. Is it gonna go for the attack though? He's sieging up here. The Hellbat layout is looking a little bit nicer for HammEr here, but Flash, does he just have too many units? Remember, he's got the upgrade advantage over his opponent here. The Thors, though, tanking so much damage, it looks like we're gonna be in. Oh, is the Thor gonna try the drop on the tanks? It's low health. I think it just needs to get out of there and survive. It looks like HammEr will survive at this point. No, he's gonna move forward, try the attack through the siege position here. The Thor gets picked off. The Hellbat's doing a great job at the front. Flash's line has been destroyed here, but still supplies very close between each player.
Really nice play by HammEr. If he didn't have the confidence, he would have defended against the attack and just stayed there. But he knew that if he allowed Flash to stabilize in that position, he cannot take the 5th base after taking the 4th base on the 3 o'clock position. That's the reason why he risked a little bit, pushed forward, and took out a lot of siege tanks from Flash.
Yes, the positioning here is going to be the key. As far as siege tanks rule the ground, until we have some Sky Terran ruling the sky, that's going to be kind of the ace card for each player here, the positioning of the tanks.
Yeah, and also the upgrades are going to come into the play right now as HammEr forgot his +3 for some time. Flash, his +3 is about to finish right now, but HammEr just started his upgrade.
Yeah. All right, well, looking at the siege tank count here, it's dead even, 13 and 13. Also, the Hellbat count, 16 and 16 here. So really, overall, the players are very even as far as their compositions go for the main units. Flash trying to move up here, seeing if he can get his opponent out of position. And at the same time, moving forward towards the 3rd base, sieging up some siege tanks. The Hellbat's providing cover, and the tanks are going to get focus fire down there as well. Excellent positioning and targeting from Flash. The Hellbats, though, all right, they're going to get picked off by these additional reinforcements. And Flash, oh no, a bit of a miss movement here. The 3 tanks on the high ground are doing their best to pick off 3 units here. One of the command orbitals are going to get picked off, though. At the same time, we have a double-pronged attack from HammEr here. He's going to be able to pick off the rest of the siege tanks.
He's doing a nice job defending, but now he cannot allow Flash to do these multiple attacks, and he needs to repair the command center as soon as possible because the one Viking is just eating away. Those Vikings also landing, and there's a battle in the middle of the map.
Yeah, Flash moving forward here and getting a pretty solid engagement there. He is ahead in supplies now, 159 to 144. It looks like his experience in years as a Terran player in Brood War, you know, the same concepts for the tank positioning still apply in StarCraft 2.
And this is so nice for Flash. Now he's even taking this area, so HammEr, at the very most, he can only sit on 4 bases. So yes, right now he is safe, but he needs to start taking out these siege lines. If not, 10 minutes later into the game, he's going to be dried out on these 4 bases, and there's going to be a situation where HammEr does not have enough economy to make any more siege tanks.
All right, HammEr forced to make the hard decisions here. He's going to kill off this tank line, but not too cost efficiently, as he does lose a few tanks to the volleys there. And Flash, you know, completely controlling the positioning in this game now. It's like chess. You know, you're moving your pawns and your various pieces forward. Try to get good positioning on your opponent so he can't move into certain locations or make certain moves or force him to sacrifice units if he wants to gain a position.
Yeah, HammEr just trying to break out of this contain as Flash is playing the game that he wants to right now. He wants to contain his opponent and pressure him constantly throughout the whole game. All the siege tanks get ripped apart as Flash has +3, HammEr does not.
HammEr's +3 should be finishing extremely soon here, however. Siege tank-wise, now Flash up to 16 to the 7 of his opponent. That's not looking too great for a Red Terran. Nice drop, though, on the tanks here. That's what he needs to do if he wants to get back in this game. The supplies, though, still very even. 145, 131, Flash taking a slight advantage after the engagement here. Still looking like it's anyone's game to take, but Flash has the advantage.
Definitely. HammEr's trying to go for these attacks, and he's doing a nice trade between the two players. The problem is the +1 armor is going to finish for Flash, and HammEr did not take out the siege tank line from his opponent, Flash.
The engagement. Oh, wow, actually. That looks pretty good for HammEr. Flash is a fantastic macro, still keeping him ahead of his opponent here, but it's looking very even, and that last fight there, really good for Flash. And excuse me, at HammEr.
And because of those good engagements, he can secure the 5th command center over in that particular direction. Remember, 5 minutes earlier, Flash was all over in that location, and we couldn't see HammEr move in that direction.
HammEr finally has managed the break Flash's wall here. Flash going to grab the expansion towards the top left hand of the map here now, going up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 expansions.
This is really nice. Flash is trying to play as safe as possible, and the top left position, yes, is harder to defend as time goes on. But as long as Flash has a siege line in the middle of the map, there's no way that HammEr can actually get to the space and harass the SCVs.
All right, HammEr grabbing positioning over here on his side of the base.
Well, I'm going to eat my words because he is using the medevacs to drop the Hellbats at the 5th base right now, and Flash needs to run away with his SCVs.
All right, very smart play here by HammEr. He's going to drop them, but Flash, he's got a lot of units here. Should be able to defend without too much of an issue, even as a planetary at that 4th base as well. So the drops there won't be too effective. Supply-wise, they're very even and still completely in that mech composition. No signs of Sky Toss whatsoever.
Yeah, both players are just adding in just little Vikings here and there to make sure that he can defend against the opponent's Vikings. But it's not like one player committed too heavily into air units either, so there's no reason for any player to switch into the Sky Toss, especially since both players are banking on so many siege tanks and so many Hellbats right now.
Nice little harassment here from HammEr. He's got a very weak medevac and Hellbat. Just, you know, keeping them alive by the skin of their teeth. Going to move into the main base. At the same time, we do see a very large ridge tank war kind of scenario, like you mentioned earlier, that could happen. Looks like Flash, he wanted to end it earlier on with a lot of constant aggression, but HammEr, you know, his defense was just too good, and eventually he just broke out of that containment.
Well, finally, we have the Sky Terran play as both players are getting 3 additional starports behind us. Flash, remember, he was slightly behind earlier in the game, but because of good engagements, he was able to stabilize on his side of the map. HammEr, yes, he had the economic advantage, but he allowed Flash to stay aggressive and play the game that he wanted to.
All right, HammEr's the one being aggressive this time around. The engagement looking really good for him. Those Hellbats picked off a lot of siege tanks here as well. But supply-wise, yeah, it looks like he is indeed ahead of his opponent. Now Flash down to 178 compared to the 189 of HammEr. These units may be coming in a bit of a no man's land area here. The tank sieging up. Flash has to just simply move forward and take a few hits here. Not too bad for him, though, picking off a lot of units out trading to back lane. And these additional siege tanks are going to increase fall as well.
That was a little mistake by HammEr. He could siege those out of the range just slightly. But this puts both players in a rear position where both players' 3rd base is under fire and they need to defend against the siege tanks while also dealing economic damage against their opponents.
Flash going for the flank here is going to pick off the tanks. One left, very low on health, and the Thor survives with 37 health. Once again, HammEr preventing Flash from really, you know, keeping these positions too strongly here. And there's, you know, the power for the Hellbat and the Thor combination, just the break through these siege tank lines, is really showing in this match here.
Yeah, and HammEr did a nice job eating away on a lot of the SCVs as we have the Fusion Core finishing up 2 Ravens out on the way for Flash.
Now, all right, Flash moving forward here, going to continue to try to press this, and the engagement looks pretty good for him. The The tanks are getting focus fire down now. The Hellbat count very high here. Can't be ignored. Actually forcing HammEr away temporarily here. He's sieging up a few extra tanks. Flash will be moving back for now. He is ahead in supply once again. Perfect scan on the 3 starports, 2 with Tech Labs, 1 with Reactor. Flash, though, he has 3 with Reactors, and he is just building up his Raven count.
HammEr just seems like one of those players who have a great start, and yes, the build order was fantastic. He knows how to play this game, but when it comes to Little Micro and the engagements, it doesn't seem so perfect. You see some of these units just walking into Flash's units, and some of the Hellbats still get picked off before HammEr realizes that those units are out of position.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, Raven's now being added into the mix for HammEr. And he's pressing forward into this base here. Will he make it work? He's got a lot of Hellbats. There's only tanks for defense now for Flash. And unless the Hellbats die, no, they're going to remain alive. They're the siege tanks trying to get them off, but the Hellbats just a little bit too resilient here. And Flash is going to be forced back here, but no, at the same time, he's going for an attack against HammEr. We have just seen constant back and forth slugfests between these players here. And I got to say, HammEr, he is holding his own against Flash, but how long? That's the question here. We're starting to see the supplies really favor Flash. He's up to 169 compared to the 147 of his opponent and trading a base for base.
Yeah, and the problem is because Flash got his fusion core up much faster and getting more Ravens behind this, Flash is going to dominate air against his opponent.
Oh no, and HammEr, he didn't lift off the command center at that expansion there. He still has a lot of other bases to mine from, but the siege tanks, they were allowed to kind of, just focus fire down that command center. HammEr, I guess it looks like he was kind of focused somewhere else on the map.
Yeah, HammEr's doing a nice job defending, and he did lose a command center, but throughout the whole game, he did a nice job defending at multiple locations. But now it's time for him to win an engagement against his opponent, because every single engagement he's either defending and he traded evenly, or he lost the engagement against his opponent.
Oh, we do have secret missiles trying to hit some of these tanks here. The double missile turrets will end up taking out 2 of the tanks with the addition of the splash. We also have Banshees added into the mix for HammEr as well. That's really interesting to see them here. And all those siege tanks are going to get picked off by the Banshees.
Yeah, these Banshees are just eating away on the siege tanks, as Flash have no way to defend these siege tanks. Even if he tries to run them away, these siege tanks are goner, and this allows HammEr to take the 5th base once again.
So just the back and forth slugfest between these players here, and WOONGJIN's one going after the... Okay, picks off the Banshee. And a few other ones trying to hit some of these air units, but yeah, we're starting to see more and more Sky units added in. 3 battle cruisers on the way. However, for HammEr, as he wants to really press this, Flash feeling a little bit behind. He is going to add on a few Banshees into the mix here. And once again, we have a supply advantage for HammEr.
Yeah, the problem is HammEr, the time is on HammEr's side right now, as he has a air dominance against his opponent. Yes, there's some Ravens out, but because of the energy wasted earlier in the game, all HammEr has to do is make sure these Ravens do not get picked up too easily and wait for the battle cruisers to finish.
He's got to be careful there. The Viking count is superior for HammEr, actually really pressing forward into Flash's base here. He's now up to 190 supplied to the 160 here of Flash. And you know what? For a guy who hasn't really done too well in Pro League so far, played a lot of games, he is showing just amazing mech play against Flash today.
Yeah, and these siege tanks are just ripping apart on the ground army as those 2 Banshees are just helping out. And yes, Flash now has the air dominance. He has more Vikings than his opponent, but look at this. HammEr is just marching into the natural base of Flash.
That's true. Flash still also very far behind in supply. Starting to even it up a little bit here, but the battle cruisers, that's going to be the biggest issue here once they're added into HammEr's army. The Vikings on the ground, if they're up in the air, they could help out a lot here. And that may be the only saving grace that Flash currently has at this point.
Yeah, and HammEr also needs to make sure he does not attack too soon, because he saw the number of Vikings from his opponent. Yes, he does have the 3 battle cruisers, which is really nice, but he needs some supporting units, such as more Vikings or even Doors added into the mix.
I think he may have just lost the battle cruiser there. Yeah. Unfortunate for him. Still has the 2 additional ones over here, though. Flash, he's bringing some SCVs from his army here. He is not too far behind in supply. He's going to go for the attack. We're going to have to see some excellent micro from the Vikings here. This may be the last stand for Flash. Is he going to make it work? Pressing forward, he wins the ground battle somewhat, but then brings back his remaining units. Now trying to go for the air battle as the Vikings fight against Vikings. It's going to look to be pretty close here, but it looks like Flash indeed. He does end up just narrowly defeating his opponent HammEr on the ground and air.
Yeah, but reinforcement Vikings arriving on both sides. Is that going to be enough for Flash to push through in this location? Seems like HammEr siege tanks are all wiped out in the middle of the main. He still has six more siege tanks somewhere. 4 more siege tanks, excuse me, somewhere in the map. But these 6 siege tanks are what matters right now, as they're eating apart on the SCVs and the 5th base.
The SCVs do fall, but the Hellbats managed to dwindle that number. Only 2 remaining here. A Viking even landing on the low ground to start focus firing goes down. Flash, he is now once again ahead in supply. HammEr, he's got up to 3K resources in the bank. Where are his units? He needs more production. He has to find a way to spend all of these minerals.
Yeah, well, he doesn't have enough gas right now to spend all of those minerals right now, as he's only sitting on 200 gas. And because the 5th base has been harassed constantly, his gas income has been low throughout the whole game. However, he needs to make sure he can secure this base over here. If he gives this up, then there's not going to be enough economy for HammEr to win this particular game. And Flash doing an amazing job, even putting some turrets in the middle of the map so that he can win the air battle no matter what.
Once again winning that air battle. Now he's got up to 8 Vikings to 0 compared to his opponent. HammEr's got the siege tank advantage here, up to 7 over his opponent here. But I mean, I feel like Flash, if he gets into a good position, I'm not sure if HammEr can actually defend a full-on frontal assault on one of these expansions.
And remember, HammEr right now, he has less Vikings than his opponent. Flash has the complete air dominance right now. So even if HammEr has more siege tanks than his opponent, it's hard for him to push out. And in fact, it's Flash's game. It's really up to Flash to set up the siege tank line that he wants to, and then force his opponent to push into that little area.
Flash, he has to worry about the Thors that are going to be in HammEr's army eventually here. Actually, a few of these Hellbats may get picked off here. Nice shot from the tanks. Most of them will end up escaping here, though. And we do see the, looks like the mules there just mining from that additional base that Flash has now. Every single base, except for 1, has been taken in this game now.
Definitely, and look at the SCV count, because HammEr lost a lot of SCVs earlier in the game. He is down in the SCV count, but because of so many command centers, all he has to do is drop the mules, and he's going to be fine when it comes to economy. As long as he has the same gas income to his opponent, he is going to be fine, as he sits on 1.5k mineral bank.
So we've kind of gotten into a funny situation here. They were completely a ground-based mech army. They started adding in the Sky Toss, and now they kind of went back to the mech. We do see a few additional air units being added in for Flash because he is ahead. He's actually getting the battle cruisers now. So it's just, going back and forth, back and forth. Those Hellbats going to get picked off pretty much for free there on HammEr's end. But oh no, these Hellbats actually doing a good amount of damage here, roasting all of the workers. The expansion there of HammEr's. More attempted harassment attacks happening from Flash, but those two, that's not going to be too useful.
Yeah, he's doing a nice job cutting up the SCV count, as he is taking his own 7th command center in his part of the map, and the last one before he has to push across the middle of the map to get more minerals.
Also, the gas is very important in this scenario. If you're in the late game, you want to go for the Vikings, the Ravens, the battle cruisers. All of them cost a lot of gas, especially the battle cruisers and Ravens. So you really need to get as much of that as possible here. Ground army still looking really good for HammEr. And Flash, he's got segmented armies of ground. He's trying to go for more of a complete Sky Toss switch now as he continues his Viking and battle cruiser production, getting the +3 armor, +2 air attack, finishing up 2 starports as well to add more and more units faster into the mix.
And what's the difference between Flash and HammEr is HammEr decides to go for 3 battle cruisers within the main army, and Flash is doing a complete switch later into the game when he knows that he has enough time to get those units out and secure a nice Viking and battle cruiser count. We saw HammEr earlier trying to get 3 battle cruisers out, but one of them got picked off, and the rest of them got picked off easily, as Flash had enough Vikings. But Flash now making sure that his Vikings and battle cruisers are safe and sound.
Alright, this base under fire here. Flash has to lift off. He's going to lose most of his units most likely in this position. The SCVs, that is. He needs to use the battle cruisers and Ravens to kind of take out this army.
Yeah, well, one Thor versus battle cruiser right now happening in the middle of the map, as HammEr, he's going to try to go for the 4th base. The problem is he might get stuck over here, and the Terran players, they do not have any recall.
That's true, and Flash moving forward here. He's going to deal economic damage as well to his opponent. He's dishing back the damage that he received here, picking off a lot of the ground units there, using the battle cruisers as well. Wouldn't mind to go off to take out the siege tanks. Actually, no. They do manage to survive just very barely here against the secret missiles. I guess we do have HammEr kind of miscalculating that slightly, but still, this game, these guys have just been at it for forever, man.
Yeah, but if you look at the supply count right now, it's 176 to only 123 of our Terran player from WOONGJIN Stars, as he's even landing his own Vikings to defend against the Hellbats.
Oh no, you don't want to really do that unless you absolutely have to against the Vikings, because the battlecruiser count is just going to get more significant for Flash.
Yeah, he's getting the air dominance right now against his opponent, and the difference was HammEr sent a lot of siege tanks to kill the fort base, and he wasn't able to do so. He took out the planetary fortress, but there was a second command center. While Flash, he only sent like 2 or 3 siege tanks, handful of Hellbats, and that did a lot of damage against his opponent.
All right, Flash is going to move out here. He's got a very impressive fleet. Going to start picking away on some of these tanks here.
Yeah, and HammEr has no answer. In fact, if you look at the Viking count, it's 16 Vikings to 34 of Flash.
Yeah, there's no way in hell that these Vikings are going to win on HammEr's side. He's going to go for the attack, though. Widowmines moving off. Nice blitz and Flash. Oh, he's trying to go for suicide Vikings. You only want to use that with the Medivacs, though. And Flash completely routing his opponent, forcing him to run away there as he picks off the last of the siege tanks. Now the supply is 82 to 158. Flash in the lead as he continues to pick off more tanks, and he also goes for the resources. He's going to go for the main base, potentially the production.
Yeah, well, he could do anything that he wants to right now, because if you look at the supply, HammEr, he has up to 4K gas, but only sitting on 94 supply, and he doesn't have enough gas to get those important units out.
Lead in with the Fist Flash. He's even going to land all of his Vikings here, finishing off the orbital at the location there, continuing to grab a nice economic advantage over his opponent, HammEr. HammEr's got a ridiculous amount of minerals in the bank, but he's starved on gas.
Yeah, and that's the reason why he is losing all of these engagements. Look at the unit tab right now. 9 Vikings, 1 Raven, and 2 battlecruisers. Not enough to take out the 31 Vikings and 3 battlecruisers from Flash.
Yeah, that's just the battlecruisers are the key unit here, really, to end of the game, that is. The Vikings and Ravens are simply there to keep the battlecruisers alive in the air-to-air war. So Flash, it looks like he wants to move in once again, going for the fight. And they're going to be able to easily focus fire down to those battlecruisers there. A little bit of a volley between both of the players here. Widowmines go off on 2 of the Vikings. They're doing a ridiculous amount of splash damage. GG is called. Flash wins the 5th set, but holy crap, what a back-and-forth game between HammEr and Flash. That was non-stop action pretty much throughout the entire mid to late game.
HammEr did a good job defending against Flash's attacks earlier in the game, but he was losing units